Titrations are something that have been around forever. And it's a way to test molarity or concentration of a solution. Normally, what you have, and what we have here, is an acid-base reaction. So we have hydrochloric acid in our flask, an unknown concentration. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, in our burette here, we're going to take some base. And almost always we use sodium hydroxide because it's cheap and simple. And so we're going to add this sodium hydroxide to the hydrochloric acid. Now the other thing that we need for a titration is an indicator. Now just like in biology, you probably used pH strips, which show pH. So they have one color for acid and another color for base. So an indicator is the same thing but in liquid form. So it shows the pH. And what we're looking for is the equivalence point. Now the equivalence point shows when our hydrogen equals our hydroxide. They are equivalent. This is also the neutralization point, because when those two things are equal, well, they're going to cancel out. We're going to have a neutral solution. So the way a titration works is we can add this sodium hydroxide drip by drip if we want to. And we know the concentration of this base. So once we figure out how much base it takes to equalize this, then we can work and figure out how much acid was in there. We'll do the math part of it later. So this is the stopcock, and it has a dial on it, and he uses that to turn it. Now you see there's a flash of pink. That's neutralization happening. But it's not done yet. It's not done until it stays a consistent color. And there it is. Now we have neutralization. So again, you'll see this flash where it's just starting to mix and show neutralization there, but we have to keep going until the whole thing is consistently one color. So we're still adding to it. And now it stays that color, and so it's neutralized. At that point, we know the H and the OH are equal. And so here you have our starting solution, and on the right side you have our solution that is neutralized. Now what you want to do with the titrations is to be able to recognize some graphs. Let's consider a few graphs. We're going to add our milliliters of a base. So as time goes on, we're going to add sodium hydroxide. And we'll graph pH over here. So our first one, let's say we're going to do a strong acid. So we're going to titrate hydrochloric acid with sodium hydroxide. This is one of the most common ones, simple ones. Now we can expect that if we have just hydrochloric acid to start, our pH is going to be pretty low. Sometimes they'll give you values over here, sometimes it's just understood, sometimes they'll give you a few. But if we have a strong acid, we know it's going to start off pretty low, 0 or 1. And as we add our sodium hydroxide drip by drip, we know the hydrogen is going to get consumed. It's going to get used up. As such, the pH is going to rise. And it's going to rise, make a little bit more gradual slope. It's going to rise until the hydrogen and the hydroxide are equal. Remember, what happens when hydrogen and hydroxide are equal? Well, then we have a neutral solution. So let's mark neutral, pH of 7. So when they equal each other, that pH is going to shoot up. And with a strong acid and a strong base, it's going to be at 7. So this is the equivalence point. So you want to be able to recognize on a graph the equivalence point, and it's the point right in the middle of the steep curve. This is where it's neutral. Now if we keep adding sodium hydroxide, if we keep adding base after the neutralization point, we can expect a dramatic rise in pH. Now we're in the basic range. And as we keep adding base, the pH will continue to rise. So again, this is a strong acid with a strong base. Now, one of the things you want to be able to do is differentiate. Differentiate the graphs of a strong acid versus a strong base just based on the graph. Now I will say that when we use a titrant, we're always going to use a strong base. But we can mix it with either a strong acid or a weak acid. So consider the same thing, same setup here, but now we're having a weak acid. Now one thing that you want to recognize is that your starting pH is going to be higher in a weak acid. And we'll call that 0 right there, just to make sure it's obvious. We'll call this 0 here. So a weak acid is going to start 2, 3, even 4 pH. And on a test, it's going to be pretty obvious. So here's our strong acid, here's our weak acid. Weak acid, higher pH to start off with. The other thing you want to recognize in a weak acid, it's going to actually go up faster than a strong acid. So we're going to see this curve. It's going to be steeper, especially initially, right? Because after all, it's a weak acid. It's going to have it's going to be impacted more by that base. And again, my drawings aren't great. If you see this on a multiple choice, it'll be pretty obvious the difference between the strong and the weak. And again, this is going to rise. Now, here's the other thing we need to recognize is that while this has a pH of 7 at the equivalence point, because the H and the OH are gone, they cancel each other out. A weak acid is going to be different. The equivalence point will be above 7. And we'll see mathematically why that's the case. So the pH might be 8. We don't need to know exactly what it is, we just want to see that it's above 7. And the short reason why this is the case is because once all of the hydrogen is removed, well, then you have the conjugate base, which then gives it the basic properties. We'll see the math for that later. So steep curve, neutralization point higher than 7, and then just like the other graph, there we go. So again, on the multiple choice test, you want to be able to differentiate these two things. They might ask you, what is this point? What does it represent? That's the equivalence point. When the H and the OH are equal, they often ask, where is this relative to 7? Above 7? Equal to 7? One other thing looks like our equivalence point is at 100 milliliters. Well, halfway to the equivalence point is known as the halfway to the equivalence point. That's significant with a weak acid, because with a weak acid, the pH at that point is equal to pKa. Again, we'll see the math and the significance of that later, but you might have to recognize that on a multiple choice test. This graph is a strong base titrated with a strong acid. And again, the curves for a strong base would look closer to this. The curve for a strong acid, as far as steepness goes, the curve for a weak base, I should say, would be more extreme. A strong base would be more gradual. This pH diagram is for a polyprotic acid. You can see the steps. So here, this looks like a triprotic acid, 3 hydrogens. So the first hydrogen is lost here, the second here, the third one here, and then it becomes basic. So this is what a H3PO4 might look like. And so all you need to recognize on these types of questions is when you see this, there's 3 slopes, 3 ridges. That means 3 protons, triprotic acid. You wouldn't have to specify which one it is. Most likely you would just have to say triprotic.